What's up guys, Jordan here. Today we're going to be going through TikTok ads, step by step, the A to Z, everything you need to know to launch your first ad on the platform today. Now we're currently using TikTok in our marketing agency, the Affluent Agency, and we're generating a ridiculous amount of new revenue for our clients at the moment using the platform. I cannot wait to bring this to you guys today. It's been a long time coming. I've got a presentation ready for you. We're going to jump onto it in a second. But before we do, I want to announce a quick competition on this video. Now for every 1 in 100 people that comment down below with their goals for running TikTok ads right now, I'm going to give you the chance to win a completely free strategy call with me for an hour where we'll run through anything you want to run through. We break down your strategy, how you can increase your revenue, how you can increase your ROAS on whatever platform you're using. We're going to jump on that call and we're going to make that happen for you. So enter that competition. Let's get started with this no BS implementable training. But do me a favor, stop what you're doing right now. Whatever it is, shut down your tabs, take some notes and pay attention and take action on what you learned today. Let's get started. Okay, so TikTok ads training. First of all, let's start off with some data. We need to understand the opportunity here. Now, TikTok was the most downloaded app in 2020 with 850 million downloads. Okay, TikTok has 1.1 billion active users worldwide, with 90% of users using the app multiple times per day. So we can get ourselves in front of our ideal customer multiple times a day on average. Now, as of January 2021, TikTok raked in 128 million in user spending, marking an increase of 380% from its January 2020 revenue. So it's growing year on year, almost 4x in user revenue. Now, TikTok ranks as the second biggest app in consumer spend above YouTube, Disney Plus, and Netflix. This is probably the biggest stat on this screen. Ranking above YouTube and Netflix in consumer spend is absolutely ridiculous. So it's a monumental opportunity for people and businesses to sell their products on the platform. How many times have you spoken to someone and said, I found that product on TikTok? It's happening a lot these days. So let's jump on to how you can actually make the most of that. So this is the TikTok ad structure. So at the top, we have TikTok's ad manager. Then we have ad campaigns. We have ad groups. We have ad creative and then landing pages. To break these down one by one, TikTok Ad Manager is where you manage your TikTok advertising account, similar to the Facebook Ad Manager. Now, an ad campaign is the foundation of your ad, so we're setting up our advertising objectives and formats. We then have Ad Group, which is target audiences, ad placements, budget, and the bidding. Then we have the Ad Creative, which is the text and the video that will appear on our ads, what we're physically seeing. And then finally, our landing page. So this is the destination URL that we are driving our potential customers to. This is the place where they will actually buy our products or service. So when you actually have your TikTok ad account up and running, this is kind of what the format will look like. We have our ad manager at the top, we have campaigns beneath that. Then inside an ad campaign, we will have multiple ad groups. So we'll be testing out multiple audiences. And inside those audiences, we may even be testing out multiple different ad creatives as well. So what are the actual creative, the creative formats that we can use on TikTok? Well, we have top view on the left-hand side here, which is like a full-size video, which shows up when we launch the app. We then have brand takeover. Now, these are the most expensive TikTok ads, and very large brands use these. And again, these come up right at the start of launching the app, and it takes over the entire screen. We then have in-feed ads. This is what we're going to be going through today, and what most businesses are actually using to generate the most revenue from TikTok. We have branded hashtag challenges, so if we want to launch a challenge on the platform. And then finally, branded events. So if we want to have our own branded stickers on TikTok itself so people can use them when they're creating their own content. But as I said, in-feed ads is the ad format we use for our TikTok ad clients at the Affluent Agency, and we're literally generating hundreds of thousands in new revenue from in-feed ads alone. So that's what I'm going to show you today. So without further ado, let's jump straight on to the TikTok advertising platform. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go over to tiktok.com/business. I'm just going to zoom in here so you can see everything on screen. And we're then going to go ahead and create a new account. So click create now. I'm actually logged in on one of our employees, our ad specialist Tom's account at the moment. And so I already have an account, but you're just going to go through a really, really simple account creation process where we put in your business name and you'll be prompted to set up a business center account. So once you've done that, you are going to be sent straight through to the business center. And I'm just going to show you a few crucial things on here. The first thing is you may or may not be prompted to create an ad account when you first create your account. So the first thing we need to do is actually create an ad account. So if we go down on the left-hand side here on our navigation bar, and we click add accounts, what we need to do is hit add account, create an ad account, and then we can create our own or first ad account that we're going to start advertising on. Remember, this is the place where all of our ads will be hosted. So we want to have an ad account for every business we are advertising for. So if you're a marketing agency, you want a different ad account for every separate business that you work with. Okay, the next thing I want to show you on here is members. So if you have team members within your company, you can invite them here by hitting invite member. You can add them as an admin or standard, and then you can go through typing in their email address and adding them to your business manager so they can log in to their TikTok business center and have access to everything that you do on your end. So once we're on the business center and we have an ad account set up, we need to go over to that ad account. So we click this button here, open in TikTok's ad manager, and we're going to be brought straight through to an individual ad account, okay? So the first thing we see is the dashboard. I'll come back to this later on. This is where we can review all of the data on this ad account. So the campaign, the genders reacting to our ads, the amount we're spending, and how much money we're making, of course. But the first thing we're actually going to do before we create our first TikTok ad is go over to assets and then event. What we need to do when we are advertising on any platform is make sure we have a pixel code or a tracking code set up. Now, for those of you that don't know or haven't advertised before and don't know what a pixel is a simple code that goes into the header of your client's website, and it allows us to track what our potential customers are actually doing on our website. And in this instance, we really want to track when they have converted, so when they have purchased one of our products, if we're advertising for an e-commerce based business, for example. So we're going to choose a website pixel, and we're going to hit manage, and we're then going to create a pixel. We're going to name this pixel. Let's just say this is Affluent Co. This is just a test ad account I've created here. We can either manually install this pixel code, or we can install the code by a third-party tool. So if we're using a website like Shopify or Google Tag Manager is installed on our website, then we can install the pixel code with relative ease just by clicking one of these options. But for any of you that are installing this manually, and it's good to learn how to do this manually, just click this, hit next, and we're going to use standard mode. If you're a developer, you can click this here. And this is the code that we're actually going to copy. So what we need to do is hit copy, and we're going to add that to the header of our website. So it's on all of the pages on our website, so we can track when people are actually on the page. So if we hit complete and set up rules, this is where we're able to actually set up events. So if we're an e-commerce business, we can click e-commerce events, and we can set up all of the events that we actually want to track on our website. So whether our users have viewed content, they've added a product to cart, they've placed an order, or they've completed a payment. And we can also set up custom events as well. So we can use a whole bunch of drop downs here and name this custom event. We can even add a value to that so we can start tracking revenue too. I'm going to keep this super simple. I'm going to do all of the default e-commerce events. We're going to hit next. And here we are actually able to set up these tracking events. So for example, we have view content, add to cart, place an order, and complete payment, which are all the default e-commerce tracking events. And the first thing we need to do is actually put in our website URL. So make sure you put that in there. I'm not going to put it in right now because I don't want this dummy pixel installed on my website. Hit update. And then we need to choose what we want our trigger to be for each of these events. So we can do click events. So when somebody clicks something on our website, destination URL. So when somebody visits a certain website, a certain URL, a certain page on our website, that'll trigger the event, or a pop-up event. So when a pop-up comes up on our website. Now the most common is destination URL, and it's also the most easy to set up for beginners. So we need to go ahead and set this up each of these events. For now, I'm just going to set up complete payment because we don't have the time to go through all of these today. So destination URL, we'll click that. We're going to hit add break a browsing rule. And so what we're now doing is we're going to say when the page URL contains this keyword, so we need to make sure this matches the URL at the top of our page. So example, if we want to add the pixel to this page, okay, on this website, the TikTok website, we could do events_manager. And then this is going to know when we're on this page specifically, it's going to trigger this event. But normally it's just going to be your thank you page. So we're going to add the keyword thank you in there or whatever is relevant to your URL. And again, go ahead and make sure we set up for the others, and we're going to hit complete, okay? Now, it's not going to let me do that, so let's just do that really quickly. So I'm just going to do that, okay? Just going to go ahead and set this up super quickly, just so it actually lets me, but of course this all needs to be relevant to your company. Okay, no TikTok, I don't want to give you feedback right now. Okay, complete, successfully created. Okay, So that is pretty much the basics for a Facebook pixel. It's all we need to actually track data. I can possibly go through some more of this in more detail in the future. If you want me to create a more in-depth pixel video, then let me know in the comments below. But for now, let's go ahead and create our first campaign. So we're going to hit on campaigns, and we're then going to hit create. Okay, we can create TikTok here or create here. So let's go ahead, and we can either choose simplified mode, or we can choose advanced mode, custom mode. Okay. Now, simplified mode is really for beginners. I'm going to teach you in custom mode, because if you can do things in custom mode from the get-go, you're going to be a much better advertiser in the long run, and it really isn't that complicated. So we first of all get to choose our advertising objectives. And if you've advertised on Facebook before, this will look very, very familiar to you. So this is where we're going to choose what we want to achieve out of our ads. Do we want to reach as many people as possible? Do we want to send traffic to our website? Do we want app installs, video views to generate leads? Or do we want to get conversions? Now we're going to click conversions here. Now for the majority of businesses where you're getting a potential customer to take a specific action, especially e-commerce, we want to select conversions, making sure we have the relevant event set up from our pixel. They're going to name this campaign, make it something memorable. So this is going to be, let's say, product purchases or bookings, for example. Okay. And we can then choose whether we want to split test similar to Facebook, whether we want to test two different ads next to each other, and whether we want to set up campaign budget optimization. Now, this means that we're going to optimize the budget on a campaign level, but we actually are going to optimize our budget on an ad group level because it gives us more control. And we're going to set no budget limit on the actual campaign level because we're going to set our budget at an ad group level. So we're going to hit continue. Going to name this ad group. So this is the ad group is where we actually create our audience. So who we're actually wanting to target with our ad. So I'm going to name this. It's a bookings ad, and we're going to target flyers, okay, or travelers. Okay. And we're going to choose our promotion type. So we're driving people to our website. We're going to select our pixel that we just created and our optimization event, which is going to be complete payment. Now, this is just showing me this alert right now because we haven't actually had any payments on here yet, because this is our first ad we've created. We're going to go down, we're going to go onto placement, and we're going to select placement. So placement is simply where TikTok is actually showing our ad to our potential customers. And I'm going to get rid of newsfeed app series and Tangled. These are just third-party apps that TikTok are partnered with that they will show your ad on as well. But if I'm advertising on TikTok, I want my ads to show purely on TikTok. So I'm just going to tick that there. Here we can select user comments or video downloads. So we're essentially allowing people to either download our ad or comment on the ad. I would recommend keeping these because we want people to engage with our ad as much as possible. If they download it, there's a possibility they're going to share it with their friends as well. We then have creative type. So do we want to select automated creative optimization? And this means that TikTok will optimize our ad and change and tweak our creative based on how people are responding to it. I like to keep this off, although if you're messing around or you're testing out a bunch of different creatives for your business, you've got a lot of budget, and then you can turn this on and play around with this. But for beginners, let's keep this off. And then we go down to targeting. So the first thing is audience. Now, audience, these are custom audiences. You'll be familiar with these if you've advertised on Facebook before. So these can be retargeting audiences, lookalike audiences, and we're not going to play around with these as a beginner. But if you are a business that's getting multiple sales, you're already advertising on other platforms, I would recommend you going ahead and creating some custom audiences, making sure that you're retargeting from the get-go. We're going to go down to demographics though. So location is of course self-explanatory. This is where we can select the countries that we want to target. And then we have gender and age. Again, self-explanatory, but I wouldn't recommend you messing around with these when you're starting off because we want to keep our ads as broad as possible to let TikTok optimize them and find out where our ideal customer actually lies. We can always start tweaking with this when we have data to play around with and we can see who is actually buying our products or services. Languages. Now, I would recommend you keeping this to your native language because you want it to be relevant for your product or service. And we're going to go down to interests and behavior. So interests, similar to Facebook, we can select any interests which are relevant to our product or service. Now, these interests aren't actually probably anywhere near as in-depth as they are on Facebook. So you'll notice that you can only actually go down a drop down here. You can search for categories, but you're really not going to be able to hone in on your competitors or really strong micro niches within your industry. They're relatively broad. So for example, we could target travel. I'm actually going to create an ad for a travel-based company. So we could do travel. I'm going to get rid of that though. Now, I would recommend, same with Facebook, you do not stack interests, behaviors, or any kind of targeting, to be honest, even custom audiences. I wouldn't recommend you stacking audiences until you know exactly what is working, because if you put multiple interests in this ad, we're not actually going to know which interests our purchases are coming from. We're going to go down to behaviors though. So these are how people are behaving on the platform. So this could be people who have watched with, liked, commented, and shared with relevant videos to our product or service. So we can go down on categories here and we could do lifestyle, for example. We're going to do travel. Okay, this is what we're going to target for this ad. So anybody that is anybody that has engaged, watched the end, liked, commented, or shared with related travel videos. But there are a whole bunch on here. We've got beauty and style. Play around with this. Have a little look at what is relevant to your product or service. We then select a time period to include actions from. So what time period did somebody last engage with this kind of content? I like to keep this as narrow as possible so these people are super warm and relevant for us. We then have other behaviors. So these are creator interactions. So this is how somebody has interacted with a specific user on TikTok. So if they've followed them, they've viewed the profile. Again, we can select this, but I wouldn't recommend stacking these. And we can, and there's probably going to be some kind of, let's see if we can search for travel. Probably be travel related creators on there as well. So if they're followed or viewed the profile. But again, I would recommend not stacking them. So we are on this ad just going to create a behavior, people who have engaged with travel-based videos on TikTok. And then we can select our device if we like to. Again, I would recommend keeping this as broad as possible. If you are, of course, advertising an app and it's only for Android users, you can just select Android, for example. Targeting expansion. Now, I'm going to keep this off. This is a feature which is similar to Facebook, and this essentially allows TikTok to broaden out away from the specific targeting that we have actually selected. And this is great for very high budget businesses who have got a lot of money to spend, because you can expand that audience into areas that maybe you didn't even think that you were going to target, or you couldn't think of yourself, and you're trusting the TikTok algorithm to do that for you. Okay. That is essentially our audience that we're actually selected. Now we're going to go down to the budget and the schedule. So TikTok is different to Facebook in the way that we have to spend a little bit more money, okay? Normally with these younger platforms like TikTok and Snapchat, we have to spend a lot more money to actually get effective optimization within our ads. We can't just spend £5 a day and hope for the best. I would always recommend sticking with a daily budget still though, and spending, as TikTok says here, at least £20 or $20 per day. Although from experience, we like to start our ads on $50 per day because it allows us a lot more budget and allows TikTok to optimize the ads much quicker. Generally speaking, we don't use TikTok ads for our smaller clients. We only use it for our bigger clients who are already profitable on other platforms. We can then set when we want this ad to actually run. I'm going to set that for as soon as possible. And we're going to run this continuously. But if you have an offer which is only relevant within certain times, you can turn that off and you can schedule your ads to only run at certain times of the day. Again, we're going to have that all day, but this is what I was saying. You can set that to specific times. Then go down to bidding and optimization. So this is how we actually want to bid to show this ad on the TikTok algorithm. Now, our goal is conversions, but we could also select clicks. But generally speaking, you always want to have conversions. And we're going to set a cost cap. So this is essentially the maximum amount that we want to spend to actually get a purchase or somebody to take an action. So I would always recommend you figuring out the profit margin for whatever product or service you are trying to advertise for, and selecting your break or entering your break even point here. So if we're selling a product for $100 and we know that our break even is $20, we can spend a maximum of $20 to actually be profitable when advertising this product. I would set that to 20. Now you may be thinking, okay, well, hang about, Jordan, or what about if you're spending $20 to get a purchase, then you're never going to be making money? And that is true. Initially, you're just going to be breaking even, and you might even lose a little bit of money for the first couple of days. But when these ads start optimizing, you can always edit this cost cap and drive it back down over the following days until you get to a really profitable level with your ads. But I would recommend you keeping this as high as possible when you are first starting out. Now, you'll notice there's a suggested minimum bid here, and that is just TikTok ways to get you spending as much money as possible. They don't know what product I'm advertising right now, so how can they possibly suggest what my minimum bid should be? You can also do the lowest cost. So here we can basically say to TikTok, look, just get purchases, get conversions for as little as you can possibly get them for. But from experience, unlike Facebook actually, I found that cost cap performs better on TikTok ads. But by all means, test both of these out for yourself. We're not going to bother going into the advanced options today, but there are other bidding options that you can play around with for advanced advertisers, and we're just going to go ahead and hit next, okay? And this is where we are going to get to create our ad, so the visual aspect of the ad on TikTok. So again, we're going to name this. So this is going to be, again, it's bookings, and it's going to be travel. And we go down to our ad format. We're going to select single video, because there's no other formats at the moment. You can create an instant page, which creates like a little landing page within TikTok. We're not going to use that. And we go ahead and we're going to upload our video. We can select it from a previous library of videos, or we can go ahead and actually create one on TikTok. Now, TikTok have video templates, they've got soundtracks, they've got smart video where you can upload a whole bunch of content. From my experience, I personally think that the TikTok video editor is a little bit primitive at this moment in time. I'm sure it's going to get better. And personally, I prefer to use external tools when creating TikTok ads. So let's go ahead and create a TikTok ad right now. We're going to rustle one up really quickly on InVideo.io. So let's go over to InVideo. Okay, so InVideo is an online video editing tool that I've personally used to create a multitude of quick and easy video ads for a ton of different advertising platforms online. Now, InVideo have kindly sponsored this TikTok ads video and are offering you guys a massive discount to their platform. So I want to show you how to create a TikTok ad on here right now in under 2 minutes. Let's see if we can get this done. So go over to InVideo.io and then we're going to create an account. I'm going to hit log in and I'm going to quickly sign in with my account. Now, as soon as we're in, we can access thousands and thousands of video templates that InVideo have created, and they add to these every single month, pretty much for any single niche that you can possibly imagine. So go through and look at these. If you hover over it, you can see a preview of the template itself. So if we just hover over this, here we go. Now, we can look at them in wide format, square format, and vertical format. Now, we want vertical because TikTok is a vertical platform. And I'm actually going to go ahead and create an ad for a travel-based company today. So I'm going to search for travel, and we're going to create a template for us to use. Let's just use this first one here. So if we go over to this, we can watch this ad. Don't really like that music. Not a fan of them transitions either, but we will use this and we can edit this. I can show you how the editor works. So we're going to use vertical and we're going to hit use this template, and it's going to take us through to the video editor. Now, you'll notice if you've ever used a video editor tool, this is all very familiar. We have our timeline at the bottom here. We have our layers for what we're seeing on screen on the right-hand side, and we have our navigation bar on the left. Now, if we click on any of these layers, we can see any relevant settings at the top. So here we click on the skies are open, which is this text. We can change the font, the size, the color, and so on and so forth. Now, the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and change the logo. So we're going to hit upload logo. I'm going to go ahead and upload a logo I downloaded earlier. And once it's loaded, I'm just going to resize this and make sure it looks good. So let's just make that a little bit bigger. Let's centralize this. Okay, so it's going to snap to grid. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to actually animate this logo in. So I'm going to hit the animate button at the top. I'm going to animate it in, and I'm going to set an animation. If we hover over any of these, we can actually see a preview. I'm going to fade in, and I'm going to do that over 3 seconds. And I'm going to apply this edit to all scenes. So now absolutely all the logos on each of these scenes, the slides that we've seen, the logo is going to fade in. The next thing I'm going to do is actually change this video. So if we go over to videos on the left-hand side here, we gain access to thousands and thousands of stock videos from premium partners that InVideo are partnered with. If you've ever tried to buy stock videos before, you know it costs an absolute ton, but with a premium account of InVideo, you get unlimited access to them, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. So we're going to search a video. I want a video of a plane. I'm just going to search plane at the top here, and we'll see what we can find. I want one of like a plane flying in the sky. Let's do this one right at the top. Cool. And if we click that, we can watch it. It's going to be in low resolution at the minute because it's not rendered. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to drag that onto this video. I'm going to replace it. I'm then going to go ahead and hit trim video to scene so it's at the right length. And I'm going to hit done. And it's going to change that video for me. Nice and simple. I'm then going to go on to the second scene, see what we need to change here. I'll probably change this video again. Let's have a look at what this video actually is. It's just a mountain. Yeah, okay, it's pretty boring. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm actually gonna upload one of my own. So I'm gonna hit upload videos. I should have a video from Ibiza this year or last year. So I'm gonna upload that. Just hit the upload button. And then once this is loaded, we can do exactly the same thing, drag this onto our timeline, and it's gonna replace that video. So if we go ahead, drag that on, did it before it's uploaded, replace this. Again, we're then gonna trim it to fit the scene. We're gonna hit done, and that's gonna change that video. Let's go on to the third scene and see what we wanna edit. Visit Beyond Borders today. Okay, so the company isn't called Beyond Borders, so let's get rid of that. Let's move the logo down instead of actually editing the text. So let's make that logo a little bit bigger. Let's put that in there. And then we have Visit Open Airways today. And then finally, the fourth slide. Let's go onto here. And what do we need to do? So we've got a phone number and a website. Let's take the logo down there. I think it'll look a bit nicer. Let's change the website by clicking on that text. And all I need to do is just go ahead and type in openairways.com. This isn't my company, by the way. Okay, I'm not going to change the number because it's just made up. And then I didn't like this music, so I'm going to go ahead and edit this music. So I can click this, I can go over to music, and I can select music again from loads of different stock providers. We can look by genre, by mood, or we can search up the top here. I want some pretty relaxing music, so let's click relaxing and see what we can find. Ambient music. I like ambient music. Cool, that'll do. Hit the dots, replace music, and we're going to say yes. I'm just going to replace all of the music on our timeline. Now, the final thing I said I didn't like was the transitions. So if I click this little button here, the transition button, I can hover over any of these to see a preview of the actual transition itself. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do just fade ins. I like a simple fade in. So I'm going to do that for there. I'm going to do that for this one. And I'm going to do that for this final one. Now, I'd recommend you going ahead and playing around with InVideo yourself if you're going to use it. There are a whole bunch of different tools that you can use, but I'm pretty happy with where this video is at. So I'm going to go ahead and hit download and share. If I want to preview it, I can click preview here. In fact, we should probably do that before we edit it, before we actually render it. But again, this is going to be in low quality at the moment because we haven't rendered it. Cool, everything's fading in. Music's good. Visit Open Airways today. Call to action, website, done. I'm happy with that. Download and share at the top. And this is going to start rendering. Okay, so whilst this video is rendering, it's a good opportunity for me to run through some of the benefits of InVideo for those of you that want to use it. Now, remember, with InVideo, you can create gold standard videos for TikTok in minutes, even if you don't know how to edit videos. There are over 5,000 completely customizable templates and a stock video library of more than 10 million assets from premium sources like Shutterstock and iStock. There's 24/7 live chat support. The guys are absolutely excellent. I talk from experience. And you can follow InVideo's official channel on YouTube for more hacks on creating videos with ease. And you can join the Facebook community of more than 20,000 marketing experts and video creators to seek help and learn from. Now, finally, if you want to sign up to InVideo, use the link in the description and use code JordanTT25 for a 25% discount to their premium plans. And if you want to learn further about how easy it is to create videos on InVideo and what makes it the best online video editor of 2021, then check out the video. I'm going to put a card around here right now. Watch it afterwards and you will learn more about InVideo and how you can use it. Let's check to see if this has finished rendering. Okay, 23%. All right, give us a couple. Oh, no. Look at that for timing. 23% to 100%. Here's our video rendered. All we need to do now to save this is hit download. Okay, and it is downloaded. We can then go ahead and upload this onto TikTok. But just before we do, I want to refer you to a few links in the description. I've put a few links in the description of examples of other TikTok video ads that you can follow and learn about, and you really kind of get an idea of what works on TikTok and why. So go ahead and have a look at these links. It's free. So we've got 10 TikTok examples that work and why. So we've got those videos on there. We've got 5 inspirational examples of TikTok ads, and we've got 15 TikTok hack examples here. So I'm going to put a link in the description. Go check them out and gain some inspiration for your TikTok ad. So if we want to upload this, we're going to go back over to here. We're going to click upload. We're going to hit open, and we want to select this video, hit upload. Super simple. And the next thing we're going to do after we've got our video is go ahead and actually change the display text on here. So if you are advertising on TikTok, I would recommend you having some kind of, let's have a look, is this working? we're good. Got our ad, so it looks pretty good on the platform. So I would recommend if you're advertising on TikTok that you actually have some kind of organic TikTok page, and within that we want to use the same display name that we have on our profile on this ad. So let's say this is Open Airways. We're going to change our display name to Open Airways. We then want to change the text of our ad. Now, this is the perfect opportunity for us to hook in somebody with an offer that we are promoting at the moment, and actually call to action our audience. Now, the worst thing you can do here is fill as many characters as possible. We want to keep this as short and snappy as possible. So, for example, here we can have 30% off flights with Open Airways. Okay? And we really want to keep it as simple as that. We want to have it as our offer so it's attention grabbing and people have a reason for them to actually click on our ad. Okay. We'll keep it at that. We'll keep it nice and simple. You can use smart text, which is a text that essentially will change and adapt based on how users respond to your ad. So we're essentially testing similar to the creative option where we can test out multiple creatives. We then change our call to action so we can either hit learn more, or we can use shop now, sign up, contact us. Learn more is definitely relevant to us with this particular offer. And then we want to add our URL, okay? So openairways.com. The final thing we need to do is actually add our profile image, okay? So you want to make this your company logo. I'm going to add this logo here, but this isn't really suitable. It needs to be a square-based image, okay, with the kind of the right text. So really, we don't want it to be a PNG with white on there. It needs to be, if it was Open Airways, we would have a black square, for example, with white text on top of it, okay? So make sure this is your company logo because it needs to be something that your audience are going to recognize. Finally, we want to tick this box that we agree with the terms, and we go down to tracking just to make sure the right pixel is selected. And then finally, if you want to set up any third-party tracking, you can do that here. So that is our ad created in a nutshell. So we hit submit, and now that's how we create our first ever TikTok ad. We're going to be redirected to the ads manager. And just before we round up this video, I'm going to highlight a few ways that you can actually read your data. So once this ad is created, you're going to notice it's got this kind of red button here and it is not delivering. And that's because this ad needs to go into review and TikTok needs to check whether it actually conforms to their terms of service. Now, if you're unsure about the product or service you're advertising, just click this button here and go over to Learning Center or Help Center to find out more. Now, ads on TikTok can take a while to actually be approved. It can take up to 24 to 48 hours, so do be patient. When it is approved, it will say delivering, and this button, this little icon will go green here. This is where we can also read all of the data from our ads, okay? So let me just put myself up here. So here we can see our total costs, our cost per click, our CPM, which is the cost to reach 1,000 people, our impressions, our clicks, our click-through rate, and so on and so forth. If you want to edit these columns, just hit custom columns, and you can add, just like on Facebook, you can add all of the relevant columns to your business. So make sure you optimize your ads, maybe between 2 and 3 ads after launching your ad. You don't want to do it before that because you haven't given TikTok enough time to actually optimize your ad in the algorithm. So wait 2 to 3 days before you go ahead and read this data. If you want to look at the overall data of your ad account, we can hit dashboard at the top here and we can look at some top level information about our ad account. So here we can see today's spend, we can see how many campaigns we've got active, what's delivering and what isn't, the trends, okay, our impressions, and our overall data. So this is all the data from our ad account summarized in one easy to read place. If you're a marketing agency, this is a nice place for you to create reports. You can create a Loom video similar to this and run through with all of your clients, showing them what you're actually doing on the ad account and how it is performing overall. So that is it. That is how you can create your first ever TikTok ad. I hope this video has been informative to you. Make sure you go ahead and enter the competition that we announced at the start of this video and get in for a chance of jumping on a coaching call with myself and my team so we can run through the TikTok ads for you and how you can best be utilizing the platform in a bespoke strategy for your company. So, hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe with your notification bell turned on, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Cheers, guys.